run that shit up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cincy Strikes podcast. We're back with an episode, on to episode 12. We will be releasing, well, if you're watching this, it's on a Thursday, which is normally released on a Friday. Short week. We got the Baltimore Ravens Thursday night. If you're watching this Thursday morning, let's hope we get this dub tonight. We really need it. And it's against a divisional opponent. Ravens are always tough against us, and they know what we got. But coming off a devastating loss against the Texans, last-second field goal, it's kind of hard to see how this team bounced back just because of the injuries we do have, with Higgins out, Hubbard out. I mean, those are two big names for us.
Yeah, I mean, Hendrickson's playing, but he's going to be banged up too. Three guys right there that we really rely on. Two aren't playing, and one's going to be banged up. Makes it even tougher going into a short week.
Yeah, 100%. And Yoshivas is also out, and he was kind of our wide receiver 4 against the Texans. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Charlie Jones is back or not. I know he's listed as questionable. So just kind of have to see what we do with that game plan there.
Big tight end game probably.
Hudson, probably Irv Smith, probably used a lot more this week. So let's just get into the Texans recap. There's a lot of issues that happened with that game. Offensive execution, a little bit of play calling, defensive execution, defensive play calling.
It's just a game you needed to win.
100%.
We're 1-4 now in the AFC standings. That's why this week's so much bigger, because we're 0-2 in the division, and it's also an AFC game. So if we fall to 1-5, it's just like,
and not only an AFC team, a playoff AFC team.
This is the high.
Yeah,
also one of the hottest teams, hotter teams in the NFL. I think we need to come into their house and maybe punch them in the mouth. But I guess we're on the Texans game right now, so I don't know why I'm talking about that. But sorry, I got
yeah. We're looking forward to this Ravens game mostly just because this kind of, don't want to say makes or breaks our season, but I mean it has very big impacts for the rest of the year.
It shapes the trajectory of what we're going to be looking at. I mean, 6-5 or kind of like looking out, looking in. It's like, still a shot at the division if we win this game. With Deshaun going out, the Browns are kind of going to be, what are they going to be looking at? I don't think Pittsburgh has the complete team to win the division.
Their offense is not good.
So, if we come out and we beat Baltimore, give them their, what are they, 7-2?
Mm-hmm. 7-3.
7-3, yeah, 7-3, yeah. So, make them 7-4. We're right back in that division race after a tough loss. Texans game, it's always tough when the whole game you're kind of battling, losing the game the whole way through, and then at the end you get the shot to win it.
Well, it's just a stinger the way we came into the game. We drove down the field. We scored a touchdown.
32-yard touchdown to Trent Irwin.
That was a beautiful dot. And we were like,
Burrow's best throw of the year.
We were like, yes, sir. The Bengals are definitely back.
That was better than his 64-yard touchdown to Jamar Chase. That throw was a whole shot, perfect, in the hands on Derek Stanley Jr.
In between two defenders.
Yeah, it was just a perfect ball. And then after that touchdown, I'm like, okay, we're definitely going to put up some numbers today. And then again, it was just kind of the same as last few weeks. After the first drive, we stall. We don't do anything until almost after half.
It's like, why don't we keep that foot on the gas?
Yeah.
It's just also it was a home game against a rookie quarterback, rookie head coach.
Crowd was good too.
That's what I'm saying. You needed
the crowd was in it.
Crowd wasn't bad.
I mean,
we had our chances, so many chances to win that game too.
Yeah.
Looking at you look at the box score, you'd be like, oh well, the Bengals probably should have been blown out. And realistically, they outplayed us every single drive almost.
Yes.
Every single drive.
Stroud was just dicing us up. They had plenty of time. He had plenty of time to throw.
Noah Brown had 11% of his NFL career yardage in that game.
I would say 57 minutes of that game, the Texans dominated.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, right up until the end when we had the shot to win it, I mean, they were controlling that game the whole way through. They were up 10, late into the fourth. I mean, it's one of those where it's like the Bengals are usually in that position, especially against a Texan team, a young Texan team. Hats off to them. I mean, they came into Cincinnati and they took care of business.
Yeah, definitely gotta give them their props. They beat us fair and square. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. C.J. Stroud's top 10 quarterback easily, probably top 5 MVP right now, top 3.
It's crazy to say that too because it's 100%
true.
true.
He's just balling though.
It's just a lot of our defense, I think, is just we got to have a pass rush. You can't, like, our secondary is not meant to let them run around for that much time because they're just going to get past them and by them at some point.
Well, when you're playing a zone too, and when you're not getting that rush and he has all day, he's going to find the zone. I mean, he's going to find the soft spots. I mean, when you're playing a zone, you're guarding an area. Yeah. You're not guarding a guy. So
did he ever find the soft spots?
Yeah, I mean,
it was.
It's just
ugly.
The defense against the Niners and the Bills, that was just not the defense we saw against the Texans at home in front of our crowd.
I will say,
you
though,
guys, it's like
the defense did step up at the end. I mean, Cam Taylor Britt's pick, and then DJ Turner's pass breakup.
That's where play calling comes into an issue with me is we had a minute 47 left, and we didn't run the ball a single time inside the 10.
Nope.
A single time. And if we would have ran the ball, we would have killed clock. They would have wasted their last timeout.
At least
if we kick a field goal, then they're going to have a shorter amount of period. They're not going to have a timeout.
Yep.
It's going to overtime.
It's probably going to overtime. Well, yeah, it's going to overtime.
I mean,
and if we get a touchdown off those runs, or if we throw it on third down or whatever, they have to get a touchdown. No ifs, ands, or buts. They have to get a touchdown with less time, no timeouts. And, like, that's just coming from, me, I'm not an NFL coach or anything, but that's just game situations you have to be on top of. And Burrow checking to a quarterback run probably wasn't the best move with the way the defensive line was teeing off on our offensive line that game.
I think we've seen that our key to success is also that you got to get Jamar involved. And with him involved, it means 10-plus targets for him at least. With the 6 targets, like, he wasn't really involved besides, like, that big catch.
Well, that's another issue I had, too, with coaching. And it's like our offense doesn't know how to function.
It's like
when we're a player or two injured. We just kind of lose all ability to move the ball.
Like that aggressiveness.
Yeah. Jamar wasn't – I get it. Like Callahan said, he was, worried about Chase moving and all that. But he's playing.
Yeah.
He's playing. If he's playing in the game, absolutely
any other
no
big name
excuses.
Receivers, if they're it's like, their game time decision, but if they're playing, they're still dogging out. It's like
yeah, and
even when he got the ball,
like Amon-Ra has been on the injury report.
Oh no,
100% dogged out.
Oh yeah.
Chase wanted the ball. He wanted more targets. He probably wanted to move around more.
Like if Higgins isn't playing, it's just like, all right, this is a Jamar game. And with the mix of our tight ends and a couple
and they got Boyd involved. I mean, he had a good game.
He had 117 yards.
Yeah,
I mean, he played pretty
64
good.
of them coming on that last drive. So but and another issue I have is, like, I know a lot of people, like, I know, like, you guys, I know especially Eric is a fan of Trenton Irwin. I am not. He's a crappy route runner. He's slow.
Yeah, you're a guy that doesn't believe in our depth because we talked about that.
I don't believe in the wide receiver depth at all.
Put that
not at all.
And I was like, I think we have one of kind of good depth, at least.
Irwin,
maybe Burrow just makes them look better than.
T being out hurts because Irwin shouldn't see the field as much as he is right now. But before, when we were healthy,
he's a good 4 or 5.
Yeah,
when
he's a good 4.
Healthy, when we're healthy.
I think if Charlie Jones does come back, we'll probably see less Irwin, and they'll start working Charlie Jones again more.
I think they like Irwin because he's a vet and he's sure-handed. I mean, he will make the catch.
He works hard.
Yeah,
they said he's always in the building. He basically lives there.
Might be sure he scares me every time.
Punt return's different though than being a receiver.
That's why you need Charlie Jones back. He was so explosive. I miss having an explosive punt returner.
Yeah. I mean, from what we just had from him before he got hurt, it's just like, we missed this from the past couple years.
Yeah,
so
in my opinion, Yoshi Voss should have been wide receiver 2 versus Texans.
Oh, I agree.
He should have been the wide receiver, not Irwin.
Yeah. We do need to see more reps.
I like to see him get more reps. I understand he's a rookie.
And he was a 6th rounder.
But to me, that doesn't really matter.
I feel like they play that into a little bit.
Irwin was undrafted, but he's been in the league.
That's what I'm saying. He's proven they're like Irwin's getting his time.
And that's why they are very they stick to their guys. Like if they have belief in you, you're gonna play. I mean, that's just it's kind of how it's always been in Cincinnati too. Like
if they like you get a shot. I mean, that's how.
What was that O-line? What was that O-line breakdown, Eric?
Oh, so going off of Parker Blake's grades, he had overall grades. Ted Karras was the best with an 80.95. Worst was Orlando Brown with a 30.95. He cannot be playing like that.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah, our best run blocker was Jonah Williams at a 70.83. Cordell Volson was our worst with a 33.33. which is hate to see it. I thought he'd be a really good run blocker. He can't. Seems like he can't do anything.
I mean, Jordan says it. That's what kind of kills our run game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely just picking on him because he's newer, and they see the tape. They see people bully him all the time. Pass protection, Volson and Karras were our best pass protectors with an 87.25. Our worst was Orlando Brown Jr. at 29.41. We gave up 15 pressures, 4 QB hits, 4 sacks, and 6 tackles.
And Burrow broke out of at least 2.
Oh, easily. I mean, it's...
But, to their credit, to the offensive line's credit, it's hard to pass block when the defense knows what you're doing.
Yeah, if they know you're just going to throw
Mixon
the ball,
had 11 carries that entire game. They knew we were passing. And then you look at the runs that Mixon did have: 15 yards, broken tackles, 10 yards, broken tackles. I mean, he had at least 6 broken tackles that game. He's on 11 carries.
He's got to be getting frustrated, man.
I'm getting frustrated
because I mean we don't even really have like a proven RB2. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's really splitting carries. It's not like we have a community backfield. We're just not running the football.
Yeah.
So
pretty much. I
mean, that just shows me that they're just like, all right, well, we don't really trust you.
Because Travion Williams doesn't get the carries.
No.
And, I saw people on Twitter about Michael Carter, like, oh, Bengals should get him. And I knew we wouldn't. I know the Cardinals claimed him, and obviously they're probably higher on the waiver wire than us.
Oh, yeah, way higher.
But I don't see us getting him in the first place just because we don't even run the ball.
Curious to see if we put in a claim.
Yeah,
you'll be able to see if
I'd love to see if he put in a claim for him.
I hope we did.
I think they would have felt comfortable with him. He probably would have gotten a handful.
I think he would have definitely have seen the field a lot. I mean,
we would have ran a toss play to lose, 4 yards. Which we need to we need to stop running toss plays. They don't work. They haven't worked all year. Haven't worked a single time.
Honestly, the offense to me wasn't even fully the problem. I just think it was like the effort on defense of missing tackles.
I mean, yeah, when you let up almost 600 yards like we talked about.
Early in the game, I was upset, but later on, when the offense just can't move the ball and they're constantly punting, the defense is wore out.
That's fair. Like the quick turnarounds.
That's what I mean. Like early in the game, there's no excuse for the defense to suck like that. Later in the game, mid game,
well, it was just
I understand.
It was just the missed tackles. Like we were on him. Like we were hitting him 1-2 yards after the line, but
I'm happy Gary brought this up because I have that other stat I was gonna say. So they rank defense off of defensive stops, which is a play deemed a failure for the offense. In 21, the Bengals ranked 3rd. In 22, they ranked 12th. And this year, they were ranked 32nd.
Oh, wow.
A lot of missed tackles, they're not the same defense, it seems like. Going from 3 to 12, like, it's okay. They're still really good defense. But
that is not on missing 2 starting safeties either. That's just not how the NFL works.
No, that's just. I mean, I don't even really know what it is, man. I mean,
is there a way to fix it? Sure. The defense is just mentality-wise, you're going to have to step up.
It's battle time.
It is Jordan battle time. 100%.
Thank you.
Nick Scott needs to go.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Not a big Nick Scott fan.
I think we're all kind of on that train of it's Jordan battle season.
Jordan Battle had 3 tackles on 11 snaps. Nick Scott had 3 tackles on 63 snaps.
Yeah. You can't have that from a safety.
Numbers speak for itself. He's the 88th ranked safety in the league. That's dead last. You cannot have that on a Super Bowl caliber team. Cannot.
Nope.
It's either you make the change or you are okay with being a mediocre defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point now where it's like you don't have to win out. Obviously, we don't have to go 12-5 to make the playoffs, but it's like you have to start winning these games, especially AFC and divisional games. So, are we going to make those moves to kind of show that we are looking to put our foot on the gas and win these games, or are we just going to kind of sit back, do what we've been doing?
Yeah.
And this week's going to be a big tell for that.
And that's another thing that bothers me about when we get to the trade deadline, we just don't make a move to stay competitive. I mean, you look at the Chiefs making moves.
Even if it's a small move.
Even the Bills went out and got Rasul Douglas.
Right.
Not the greatest player,
but a vet.
But he helps their defense in some sort of way get better to make a run. And we just refuse to make in-season moves.
I want Akeem Hicks just for this run, just for some depth. But I obviously know we won't go get him, but
Is Hubbard out? Like, is he just going to be out kind of like a day-to-day?
Hubbard's out. He's been confirmed
I
out.
know, but I just meant like after this game. Like, is he going to?
We'll have a longer rest period. I mean, he should be good after this.
We got Pittsburgh next?
I hope he's back.
Are we
Yeah,
home
me
for
too.
Pittsburgh?
Me too. Yeah,
needed.
He's definitely needed, especially on the run game.
Oh, easily in the run game. He's probably the best besides Reader. He's probably the best guy in the run there.
And it's like I hate being negative too.
Yeah, it sucks,
But at the end of the day, I mean, we are a Super Bowl caliber team, and we failed to put up 30 points. We fail to make tackles, and we fail to make in-season moves to make our team better and competitive. Now, I said it. I texted you guys during the week about this. It's like I don't hate Brian Callahan. I think he's a good guy, a great coach. I feel like he will succeed anywhere he goes. But for us personally, I think we need a fresh face.
Yes.
And it's not like because he's like bad for us. It's just something that I think we need something to rejuvenate our offense.
At just some point, you just not got to have like the slumps and not like obviously you're gonna have slumps, but like meaning like the Bengals are just so hit or miss.
Well, it's always like we start slow, but it's like we're going into week 10.
Yeah.
Like it's no longer it's no longer like we'll pick it up. Like, and yeah, Callahan's not horrible. But it's the NFL. I mean, changes happen all the time for that reason. Like, offenses get stale. You run the same things, it just stops working, no matter the talent you have. I mean, look around the league.
That's just been the Bengals' issue as an organization
Waiting
for the longest time is you just wait too long to make moves.
Yep.
And, I mean, I'm not saying you make a move now, but next season, I think you got to make the move. And I know people are going to be like, well, Zach calls the plays. Well, Callahan makes the concepts.
And it's his personnel.
I don't care what anyone says. You put the best people in the building you can.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
And Callahan, I think for us, is not the best person. Now Callahan will go somewhere, and I know he'll be successful. I know he's a smart football guy. He has a lot of knowledge. But for us, I don't think he fits us personally. And that's just my opinion on it. I mean, just how other people think, how I think.
Well, it's just, I mean, and now we're at the point, like, we're kind of a little bit spoiled. You know, we went to the Super Bowl, then the AFC Championship, and now we're 5-4. But to our credit, we've been 5-4 the last 2 seasons. But this does feel a little bit different.
This is a lot different.
You know, those last seasons we were rolling from going into 5-4. We were hitting that groove. We were rolling teams. We were 8 wins in a row.
Mm-hmm.
We just lost to the Texans. Now we're 5-4.
And last year the division was very beat up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lamar got hurt.
The division was very beat up last year. Now it's pretty much everyone's healthy. So now is the time to really show what kind of and Thursday night's going to prove what kind of team we are. I understand that Burrow's probably going to have to be more than perfect if we're going to come out of this game with a win.
Which I hate seeing that too, because those 2 picks on him, I mean, that was just him playing hero ball.
Yeah,
the one across the middle.
Very uncharacteristic. The Drew Sample one that tipped off Drew Sample's hands on Burrow. Yeah, that was too high for him.
That was a high throw. But the one across the middle was just a bad throw.
Yeah,
that was just a bad decision, and that was just him putting the cape on.
And you gotta know Burrow's not gonna.
He's not gonna do that again. He's not.
That's not gonna happen. But it happened in that situation, and we'll live with that. And people do need to stop blaming Tyler Boyd for the loss. He is not the reason why we lost. He could have been the reason we won, but he's not the reason why we lost.
Like we said, we had that game lost in the 3rd quarter.
Probably earlier than that.
Yeah.
There was multiple times throughout that game. It was like we're down 10, and then Burrow throws the first pick, and it's like we got to stop. And then we're driving, and Burrow threw that second pick. Or obviously that might be multiple drives.
But the crazy thing is, like, watching that game, usually I do have confidence in the defense to get stops, but C.J. Stroud was just finding guys open.
Just dicing.
That Cam Taylor Britt pick, though. Man, if he would have took it to the house.
He needs to get faster. But no, Cam Taylor Britt's a dog. That's another point we need to make.
In
CB1,
as soon as he's eligible, you extend him.
Him and DJ next year.
I mean, you can extend him now if you want.
I mean, this year already, but just another year of experience for DJ.
And it is hard seeing a Woozy out there sometimes, man, because he's still he's not fully healthy.
And you watch him at times when he can get to the receiver with his knowledge, but like sometimes the speed is what really kills, and that's like really not on him. It's just
he had a really nice pass breakup in the end zone.
Yeah. He's a really smart player. I don't know if we re-sign him next year. I could see us moving to drafting a slot corner.
I don't think.
Or finding a slot corner in free agency.
Mike will still be here. They're gonna make. It's gonna be those two. It's gonna be.
But at some point, I mean, Mike.
CTB and.
You know when is Age gonna take his part? You know what I mean? It's already has. With
but they're not.
Yeah,
but
but next year is his last.
Oh
year.
no, I'm saying
so he's gonna be there. So that's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's picked it up since.
He's
I
definitely.
know.
I think they'll still
had a gripe with him.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they might bring back a Woozy, maybe on a cheap deal, but I doubt that. But because if they don't bring him back, and it's like then they're relying on drafting another corner, him being good, like you were saying, like drafting a corner.
But, you know, Woozy plays out.
They could bring somebody in.
Yep.
Too.
That doesn't bring a vet in.
even if we want to run with Mike Hilton next year at slot, I'm fine with that. I know he's a smart player, and he's definitely picked it up. He's definitely our best tackler on the team too, like without a doubt.
Oh, and he'll tackle anybody.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's not scared to get in there. He's a smart player, so I'm cool with him. You know, being our starter next year, and I think in 2025, I said this at the game. We draft Shiloh Sanders when we can, just because I think that'd be cool.
It would be pretty cool.
Dion would be coming to the games.
Gosh, you gotta love Shiloh. Man.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's going to his favorite son's games.
Yeah,
he's going to his games.
Yeah, I don't think the cornerback position's a big worry.
No, definitely not.
I think if Awuzie leaves, I think if Awuzie leaves, which, you know, he's an outside corner, you already have Cam Taylor-Britt, which shown that he can ball.
Yeah,
him and DJ.
Yeah, and DJ. I mean, he only had up one touchdown this year against.
I think Ivy might take a step next year. They liked Ivy.
He was active this week.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think he'd make the roster because they handed him number 38, and that's an ugly cornerback number. But they kept him for a reason.
Built like Sauce Gardner a little bit. Like lengthy arms, and
he's not scared to be a little physical.
He's a physical
like
guy.
That we have
he's like
guys.
6'1".
Dude,
look at the best corners, man. They're physical.
And when Battle starts playing, that's going to be a physical secondary.
You know, Battle should already be playing.
I mean, I was telling Cornell, you can't teach that athleticism.
In college,
no, his IQ's there.
Yeah,
he's bigger than Nick Scott.
Dude, Nick Scott's probably like.
Nick Scott got ran over again.
I think his cleats are still on the field.
No, not that on that one. I know there's a big hit. Nick Scott went in with his shoulder.
Sideline.
Dude got
rocked. It was on our sideline.
Yeah, dude needs to hit the weight room.
He's trying to.
It's every week he's getting trucked.
And it wasn't it you that said like you realized we signed him for 3 years?
yeah, you're like
yeah.
You went to look at his contract.
Yeah, I looked up his contract like 3 years because Bengals don't cut people either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's another problem is that we don't cut.
That's why I said Mike is still gonna be on the team.
Well, I
next
mean,
year,
if you keep Nick Scott around, he ends up being your second string safety.
That's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
I'm cool with Nick Scott if he comes in for Jordan Battle.
But Jordan Battle has such.
I am not cool with Jordan Battle coming in
money
for.
We gave him.
Yeah.
He gave like 3 years. Well, I don't even remember what we gave him, but it was like not.
But he
really
wasn't.
12 mil?
Yeah. Like
he wasn't even a player I wanted in free agency.
I want Rapp.
Taylor Rapp.
He's on the Bills.
He went to the Bills.
He kind of fell to us because we didn't have.
Because Rapp had just got picked.
But we weren't aggressive. We just weren't.
I know. We were like, whatever falls to us, and we'll draft.
And that's another problem. I'm tired of being
complacent
when we have a contending team.
Yeah, be aggressive. Go. I mean,
we were aggressive.
When we got OBJ.
We were aggressive to build this team, right?
When we got Orlando,
we were aggressive to go get DJ Reader, Trey Hendrickson, Chidobe Awuzie.
None of the people thought nobody thought those were like big moves though. We're like DJ probably was
at the time.
Like Trey, everybody was like, oh, Trey's only because he was opposite.
Well, that's
because
that's because we lost Carl Lawson. That's why, and everyone
loved
Carl Lawson.
He doesn't. He's always inactive.
Now he wants to be on a new team.
Yeah, he's always inactive.
He said he's not a cheerleader. He's a football player. He only has, I think, 58 snaps this year.
That's what I'm saying. He's not even playing for the Jets.
Yeah, he's not. They just
before we get into
time.
the Ravens game and some stuff that needs to happen for that game, I want to talk about Lou Anarumo real quick and how I think he's lost his opportunity to be a head coach. Not because of the game.
Just because of the style and the
I will tell you who's ruining his chances. That is Sean McDermott.
5-5 Bills.
Yeah, he is Their defense went from top 5 to middle of the pack this year, and it's because Sean McDermott took over. And you look at like Brandon Staley and some other defensive head coaches; they are not winning.
Belichick.
Not
I'm
anymore.
starting to think he was a Brady merchant.
Brady merchant.
I'm just like your point. The defensive head coaches. It's kind of.
Well, I mean, Belichick didn't want Mac Jones, right?
I heard he wanted.
I heard he wanted Mac Jones.
Oh, that's a bad choice. I thought he didn't want Mac Jones.
I said that going in. Mac Jones looked bad in college.
Yeah.
Even for Alabama standards, he looked bad.
He was very accurate at Alabama. Like, that was his biggest thing. I think he had
Everyone's very accurate at Alabama.
But that was like, he had like 70% completion. That was like crazy. Is what kind of stood him apart as like the thing to draft him. But when you're throwing to those receivers,
they were also needy.
Yeah, I mean,
they
needed a quarterback.
And they're like, oh, Mac Jones.
Well, they're gonna get one this draft.
They're like, oh, Alabama, Mac Jones.
Probably.
Caleb Williams is the favorite to go to New England right now.
That'd be something.
I got him in my New England franchise. It's kind of nice. Him and Troy Franklin are tearing it up.
They will tear it up in the NFL too.
But it's not Lou's fault either. Lou would make an excellent head coach. But I just think the way the NFL's shaping up, I can see Brian Callahan getting a head coaching job before Lou Anarumo.
I mean, like you said, McDermott's ruining it. But he fired.
It's not just Lou. It's not just McDermott.
It's more. It's Staley.
It's Staley too.
Yeah. But the Bills fired their offensive coordinator when they were third in EPA.
That was a terrible fire.
That was just to get scapegoat.
It's exactly what it was.
McDermott did it to keep his job.
Let's get into that with the Week 10 recap. Let's just jump into the Ravens game.
Love it.
This is a huge game for us. We've already talked about the injuries. No excuses. The Ravens are going to come in pissed off.
Yeah,
they just dropped a heartbreaking loss to the Browns.
No
Lamar threw a fourth quarter pick
Marlowe
six.
Again. Isn't that how it was last time we played him?
Yeah.
No Ronnie Stanley or Marlon Humphrey.
Yep.
That one worries me. Trey Hendrickson will be back. That dude's an absolute animal.
Limited or not, he's still.
I'm honestly really scared for this game just because of the offense mostly. Because Burrow almost has to play perfect. And I know he can, but I would hate to have that much pressure at week 11.
I'm just hoping they find something in the tape to where Deshaun at the end of like the second half of last week was kind of maybe doing like he was kind of looking like the old Deshaun for like a half.
Deshaun didn't really do anything though. It wasn't really their offense that got him back in that game.
I mean, yeah, Lamar threw a pick six.
Yeah, but if you guys
and they didn't move the ball. The Ravens didn't move the ball.
He did. No, Deshaun was dicing him up.
That's what I'm saying.
He went like 7 for 8 or something like that in the last two drives.
He was looking like an old
Okay, well, if Deshaun diced him up, I'm sure Burrow can because Deshaun sucks. But
Baltimore's biggest thing on defense is they're fast.
Their pass rush.
And they're fast.
Yeah.
Like their linebackers are fast.
Their
and
safeties.
Geno Smith's actually a dog, too.
Geno Stone?
Geno Stone
and
yeah.
Kyle Hamilton.
Geno
started
Stone,
off the first touchdown last week with the batted down
Geno
pick
Stone's like a
six.
nobody.
Well, that and then like Patrick Queen, he's fast.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
He's got a lot of speed.
Roquan. I know. I love their linebackers. And I wish they were ours.
I think the key is.
I actually don't.
We just got to get out
I think
early.
they ever paid for Roquan.
In other news, Luka got his 10th assist.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean they spent over $100 million on a linebacker.
It was what 5 years, 100 and something.
Yeah, when the Bengals spent like a couple,
on Wilson and Pratt and their dogs.
Yeah, and Wilson leads the NFL in picks at the linebacker position, and
yeah.
I mean, Roquan is just
Roquan's a Raven, man.
Yeah,
Roquan definitely
he
fits that bill.
Fits their
he's
mold.
a Raven.
He fits them.
I was so mad when he
hard
got
hitting,
there.
like
I'm like, come on.
When he got traded there, I was extremely.
I'm like, they're not
pissed.
gonna. They're not gonna re-sign him. He
Extremely
wants a lot
pissed.
of money, and then they re-signed him for a lot of money.
Because the year before he got 2 pick sixes off Burrow.
Yep.
When we played the Bears, I'm like, not 2 pick sixes. He had 1 pick six, but
he had
2
the
picks.
3 picks back to back to back.
Yeah, that was sad. But
Anyway,
but this game, not only an opportunity for Burrow to shine, to throw perfect, but this is a bigger game for Miles Murphy, Cam Sample, and Joseph Osai.
The D-line.
100%.
This game will rely on them, and it will
We need
be
Miles to show up.
on defensively. This game will be on their backs.
Yeah, I mean, Miles
defensively.
he's a first-round pick.
Miles
Also,
Murphy needs to
Osai.
showcase why he
Osai
was
also
the
needs to show
28th
up.
pick.
I mean,
And I believe in him, too. I know he's raw. Give him some playing time. I want to see him beat up some offensive
He's
linemen.
shown flashes in the few snaps he's had, but
He
we
has.
need him to like have
Now,
a breakout game, which would be
people are upset over him
amazing.
because he did get beat on a block by a wide receiver, but that does happen in the NFL.
everybody gets beat. I mean, people
Everybody.
get pancaked. People get. I mean, it's the NFL.
Everybody gets beat, even
I
the
think
Bills on Sunday night.
I mean,
or
he's
Sunday
gonna
Night
get
Football
a-
with 12 men on the field.
he's going to get a very big role this week, though. Like more than he's probably had the rest of the season.
I see Cam Sample starting again, and I see Miles Murphy rotating more than Joseph Osai, just because Joseph Osai this year, I thought he would come out hungry and feast, but it seems like he just doesn't have it in him.
I thought he was going to take a step, man.
I thought he would be a dominant
I thought a
passer.
lot of them would.
He was
Him,
looking- he was
Zach
looking-
Carter. Like
Zach Carter is almost useless on
that's
this
what I'm
defense.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Week 1 and 2, he looked decent.
I think I said Cam Sample too.
Ever since then, Zach Carter is just
like,
a placement holder for a lineman to take up.
Which really sucks because we need to get pressure.
And
That's another depth problem we have is interior defensive line.
Wasn't Carter a third-round pick?
It's like once DJ Reader's out, we have nothing.
Fourth, I think.
Third or fourth round.
Yeah, I mean.
And DJ Reader, he needs those snaps off. You know what I mean? He's a bigger guy.
And Trey, I mean, I know he's probably going to be good to go, but do you think they kind of limit him?
We are awful. D-line.
I don't know.
Now that
just because I don't know the extent of his hyperextension.
Yeah,
because I know I saw him at practice last
he looked
night.
good.
And he was
running fine. Yeah, he looked great.
Drafted.
I just wonder because if it's a must win. So
yeah, that's true.
But this game, I mean, it's going to be it's our biggest game of the year. I'll say that. 100% our biggest game of the year.
Yep.
Our scariest game of the year too.
The biggest issue I have is that your backup to Reader is Tupou. I'm not the biggest Josh Tupou fan in the world.
I like Tupou. Obviously, I don't think he should be like the best back.
What does he do?
He's a run.
What does him and Jay Tufele do?
I don't know.
Him, Zach Carter, they're just guys.
They don't get
just
enough. They don't get enough snaps.
Probably because they don't deserve those snaps.
They just don't get the opportunities.
Do we want them over DJ and BJ?
Well, no, but those guys need rest, though.
Yeah, that's
especially
true.
when our offense has to punt.
And we need to see what we got. I mean, young guys like that, you need to see what they can do because if BJ gets hurt.
Jay shown last year that he isn't horrible, but he never got that much playing time.
There's a couple times he got held against the Texans, though, that weren't called. That really irritated me.
Yeah.
The right guard straight up chokehold him, and nothing was called.
Yeah, Tupou.
Was he inactive last week, or is he active? I'm pretty sure he was inactive, and DJ Ivy was active.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. But, he's not the greatest nose tackle to have after Reader. They do need more depth. I think Cam Sample, he can play both, as an end and inside.
Seems like we've been me and Eric were kind of having a side convo, while you guys were talking. We've been bad at drafting D-line recently.
I mean, they've had some really
we
good
had
hits.
Gino, he said Gino and Dunlap, and then we had Hubbard. He's the only one that we drafted that starts, and then the rest of the guys that we've drafted recently, none of them have taken any steps forward. Sample, Osai, Carter.
Carter looked good.
I think honestly, I think Sample's problem is just playing time.
Yeah, he's a good.
I think he could develop into a really good player.
Well, that's what I'm getting to with this is that he can play both inside and outside, but I think he should stop playing end and just go strictly to a 3-tech. When he played defensive
he's
tackle,
strong.
Yeah, when he played defense,
strong.
and he's fast too, faster. When he played defensive tackle, he was making plays. He got a sack. He got some stops. But it'd be nice to see him do that, and you have Murphy. Sai, I think you're kind of okay, and then Sample can move in. But I think Sample needs to be the next guy up after Hill.
And the thing is, after watching our locker room interviews after the loss to the Texans, this defense is going to come out hungrier than ever.
They're hearing the noise.
They got to play for something.
Well, they don't hear the noise. They are the noise.
That's the thing I hate about playing the Ravens.
That's what I love about Lou Anarumo is how he gets his guys ready. They are more critical on themselves and more harsh on themselves than us fans are. I know they were all pissed off in that locker room because they allowed Noah Brown over 100 and something yards, and then Tank Dell over so many yards, and C.J. Stroud having a
Singletary
150 rushing yards. They know what they have to do.
Yeah,
they know who they are as a unit too.
My thing is, it's just hard to stop the Ravens. Even if you try to prep, if you're going to stop the pass, guess what? They can run the ball, or Lamar's just going to run it himself. And you just got to rely on our spy, which our spies are good. But then it's because we had them at the end of that game, last time or whatever one where Lamar just runs it out of bounds. Was that earlier in this year? I don't know.
We got blown out.
He got the first.
Yeah, but we ran different defenses against Josh Allen though. We had double spies. And I wonder if we're going to implement something like that against the Ravens.
That's the only reason I hate when we play the Ravens, because it's we have them stop on it's a big third down, and then Lamar will just run it himself. It's we literally had everything covered. It's just the man just ran.
In week 2, I'll give their winning their game ball should have went to Todd Monken because he called a great game against us. So I'm curious to see how they play us this week.
I think if you can stop the run, Lamar became a better passer, I believe.
Oh, 100%.
he has more windows. I think he has more windows.
Well, he's got more true receivers now. I mean
that, and I think Todd Monken. I mean, people really do fear the run and the pass this year, instead of where people were just
loading the box.
Yeah, and Lamar never had a true receiver to throw to either. So,
and now obviously Odell, but Zay Flowers is emerging as
that dude's a dog.
Yeah.
He's a dog,
Yeah,
which sucks.
I believe he can stop the run, make him have to throw. I know he's better at it, but make Lamar beat you with his arm.
That's what you have to do. 100%.
Don't let him run. Don't let Gus Edwards run. Don't let
Keaton Mitchell.
Justice Hill.
But like
Mitchell, yeah, don't let Mitchell run.
A couple years ago, we would have said, "Oh yeah, make Lamar beat us with his arm," because we thought he sucked. But like now, it's make us beat him. Beat us with his arm because we have a lot of faith in our secondary.
Yeah,
not Nick Scott,
no,
but everyone else. Everyone else. And it's like Lamar looks really good, and up to last week, like Gary said, he mentioned to us earlier how he had Lamar as MVP, and I would agree with that. I mean, Lamar's played excellent this year.
Yeah, he's looked really good.
Really blew that game against the Browns.
Yeah, I would say going into that week he would have been MVP. Now it's kind of a toss-up. Yeah,
a couple people.
I would honestly Stroud would probably be the
CJ Stroud's my favorite right now.
He's so good.
No, he's 100%.
He's great.
I just hope Charlie Jones plays. I'd like to see him more.
Yeah.
That especially at punt returner too, because he's explosive. A punt returner, so definitely need that. Speaking of the Ravens game, let's get into the Cincy Stripes parlay.
Eric, you gonna hit us with it?
Jordan didn't.
It's all good. We last week missed it by one leg.
We don't have our headsets on,
so kind of hurt, but no worries. Gonna bounce back big this week. Bengals plus 3.5. That is actually what they are listed at, is plus 3.5. I think it's gonna be close. I do think it's gonna be high scoring. I think the Bengals come out really, really pissed off. I think Burrow kind of comes out, like Jordan is saying, he's gonna have to be nearly perfect. So I'm taking his over at 225 as well, all yards. Those are my two legs, Bengals plus 3.5 and Burrow over 225.
And for my two legs, I got the guy who's been getting really involved the last couple of weeks and since he's been on the team, Tanner Hudson, over 22.5 receiving yards. We saw like the first couple drives, like when our offense was looking good, Hudson was getting heavily involved in a lot of receptions. And then second, I have Boyd over 43.5 receiving yards. I think the Ravens are going to try to take out Jamar if they're going to take anybody out of the game and try to focus on him. And Boyd, I think, will try to have a big game. He had a big game last week, obviously, but try to make up for maybe that drop touchdown pass he had and maybe make the fan base happy.
Yeah,
and that's plus 560 odds. 10 wins you $56.
And this is, to clarify, these are FanDuel odds.
Yeah,
FanDuel. These are FanDuel odds on Wednesday, November 15th.
Yep.
So, obviously, the odds can change.
Yes.
Yeah.
But these are what we like as of right now.
Yeah. Just for a little backstory, I mean, Hudson, he hit 33 yards last week.
Maybe I should have just
Boyd was over 100.
Plus money.
Burrow, obviously, the last time he played the Ravens had a rough game, but he's hit over 225 consistently. And then you got to think the Bengals come out ready to go. If they were to lose, it's going to be close. So I like them over 3.5.
If it's going to be a loss.
I like it. All right, let's get into our NFL Week 10 recap, this is usually one of my favorite parts just because we get to talk all ball.
All ball.
A lot of walk-off field goals this week. Weekend. A lot of them, including
it was like the record.
One against us, which kind of sucked, but
from a kicker that had just got signed too.
Matt Amendola.
Yeah. Honestly, who is this guy? A lot of games. I mean,
yeah. We got the Cardinals game.
Broncos.
Wow. Wild ending. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stories. I mean, kind of looking at the Bills, we talked a little bit about them. Josh Allen's turnover problem.
Trevon Diggs tweeting about how Stephon needs to get out of Buffalo. And Shannon Sharp was talking about this. He's like, my brother also played in the NFL, Sterling Sharp. He's like, what your brother says also plays in the same league. It kind of foreshadows or implements what you want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he can talk for him,
Yeah, because Shannon said he could have said 14 needs the ball more or 14 needs to get schemed open more or something like that. But he said 14 needs to get up out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely talked about it. He definitely's like, man, don't want to be.
And
in
you
Buffalo
can
no more.
definitely tell on
he's
Diggs's face and
a hothead. Obviously rightfully
three catches
right
in,
now
in a
I
tough
can't-
loss though.
last year I was like, I don't understand why Diggs is upset. He's getting the ball, whatever. But now this year he's not getting the ball. Josh Allen's throwing horrible picks.
Yeah.
So I mean, Josh Allen did throw 2 picks. One of them was tipped off Gabe Davis, so one of them was truly his fault. But he threw that with 40 seconds left in the half. Broncos got a field goal.
Most turnovers since 2018.
Yeah, and then he fumbled on a ball.
That's the thing.
handing
It's like
off.
it would be one thing if it was just the interceptions, which that alone is a problem. But it's the fumbles too.
Yeah, because he does try to be Superman with his running ability, which I don't blame him. He's super athletic and he's super big. So
Well, and I mean, obviously Cook had 100 yards last game, but other than that, they've struggled with having running backs, man, to where he's kind of had to do it all. But now you look at it, it's like when you have to do it all, you can't force the ball in those situations, or you're hurting your team.
yeah,
Was Lenny just a depth piece, or is he actually going to play for them?
he was getting.
He-
Are you talking about Fournette?
Yeah.
I don't know, but Latavius Murray got quite a few
Yeah, he
carries
was looking
too.
good when he got the ball in the middle of the game.
But I mean, another quarterback we can talk about, like the opposite of Josh Allen, doesn't have a turnover problem, but he still can't win. It's Justin Herbert, and he is a true winner. Brandon Staley is a true loser.
The Chargers defense is really hurting Justin Herbert, man.
Justin Herbert plays almost perfect. I say 12 out of the 17 games we have in a year because he's that talented, he's that good. But the Chargers find a way to lose just about every game, or it's close because their defense just can't get a stop.
Yeah, it's like one of those things we talk about the Bengals. A new face. I mean, they need a change.
Yeah,
Chargers need a change. Herbert. They went to the playoffs once, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They lost to the Jags.
They blew the lead. So
they're up 24-0.
Yeah,
so
and I
he's
thought
had
they
one
didn't
playoff
run.
game.
Run the ball.
And
well, they fired their offensive coordinator and they got Kellen Moore. So I mean,
that's what we didn't talk
They
about.
still don't run the ball.
Bills fired.
they
Dorsey,
can't.
Too. We forgot to talk about that.
we talked about it.
Down there, they're gonna
Austin
pass.
Eckler's a horrible running back.
You think
Great
so?
receiving back.
Great
Oh, yeah,
receiving
receiving
back,
back, yeah.
horrible running back.
That's why they got Josh Kelly.
Like I like Austin Eckler. Don't get me wrong, but I mean that dude struggles to get 30 yards a game.
No, but Staley
Other
should have
than
went
week
after that playoff loss. Like once he lost that game, I think Staley
That's a
should have been
ga-
gone. And
that's a-
that's when you bring in Sean Payton. I thought that was the perfect situation. Bring Sean Payton in.
That was Sean Payton's perfect situation
You
too.
should- And now he's in Denver. I mean, now they're doing better, but
Yeah,
I
the
still-
turnaround would happen there.
I just think Staley, he should have been gone last year.
I mean, I don't blame them. They went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
The-
can't.
the-
That lead they
that-
blew.
that
though.
Yeah, they blew
24
a
to
huge.
nothing,
They blew
dude.
Isn't it like a
huge
rec?
lead.
Isn't it
I'm
like
calling
a stat
for
where they're like
Zach's
one of
head
the
if we
highest
blow a
paid teams,
24-point
obviously?
lead.
Yeah,
When
oh,
you
yeah.
have that much talent on your team,
Probably, yeah.
you need to be doing more.
They refuse to run the ball.
Yeah.
Up 24-0. That's a problem.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, they can't run it, but
how many years has
thought that
Staley
counts.
been with Herbert?
Every year he's been there.
That's what I'm saying. Like at some point in their roster's been good. I know you're in the division
It's
with
not
the
like they
Chiefs.
have bad pieces.
I know you're in the division with the Chiefs, but you should at least be making the playoffs more than.
I
what
wonder
you
if
did,
that
and then-
does put a lot of pressure on teams
Yeah,
too.
I mean you're in a division with the Chiefs, but you're also in the same division as the Raiders and the Broncos.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse to not get 4 wins out of that division.
At least
hey, Broncos are getting hot.
Sure.
Yeah, but we're talking about past years too.
Mr.
Like
on
they
the
haven't
name.
been
Yeah,
winning.
past
Like
years.
they haven't been winning like at all. Like they didn't
Raiders
make,
and Broncos have been bottom of that division.
yeah.
since Mahomes took over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse.
It's always been the Chiefs, Chargers, and then whatever at the bottom. Well, with the Raiders and
Raiders have usually been right around 500, but still.
I mean, speaking of the Raiders, they're 2-0 since firing McDaniels, which seems they're rallying around Antonio
Get
Pierce.
smoke
Get
cigars
rid of
after
the
that
interim.
one, or no?
Get rid of interim. He should be the head coach.
He should be.
We said the
I
same
like
thing
him.
with Rich Bisaccia though. Or
It was
whatever.
different though.
That was not different. That dude should have been a head coach.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, he should have gotten the job, but I'm saying like the culture that Pierce is bringing to this team is a lot different. Like these guys
those
immediately.
those
Rich
guys
did
are
that
playing
too.
for him.
Like
Not on
obviously
this
not
level,
to this
bro.
level, but like I feel like they would have. I would have given Rich more of a chance than I would Antonio Pierce.
Why?
NFL experience.
Yeah, and the man took him to the playoffs.
Antonio Pierce is a player's coach. Pistachio is a coach.
Maybe
You know what I mean?
I'm just the kind of guy that likes that more.
Oh no! Right
That's
now,
good for when you-
Right now, I will say
Okay, but
in
don't think
the
he can coach?
situation, but like they shouldn't be in this situation in the first place.
Yeah.
Right.
If they would have just hired Pistachio, they're
Right
not
now,
even in
he's
this
just
situation.
uplifting them and stuff. Like
Okay.
if they're trying to like win and compete next year, he ain't gonna be the head coach.
But he is winning with Aiden O'Connell.
Dude. Okay.
What?
I just disagree with that take 100%.
All right.
But all right. So you think he shouldn't get the job?
I'm not saying
I
he
think
shouldn't.
he should. I think he should.
I'm thinking he should be
But I
up
think-
for it.
I
but
don't
there's
think
also
they
gonna
should
be
be in
other
the
candidates.
situation.
Right,
I don't think
okay.
he's just gonna be the automatic.
No,
hire.
but say they've got what? 6 games left. Say he goes 4-2 and he's 6-2 on the season.
Because I said
He has 2 and 4 the rest of the season. Give him the job.
I just think, I mean, when the Raiders so dysfunctional, you got to have some stability there.
I mean, who else are the Raiders going to get?
Good point.
What's the pool next year? Bill Belichick?
Harbaugh, Dion,
Jim?
Jim might leave college.
Yeah, considering he keeps getting suspended, but Dion ain't leaving.
That would be funny.
I think Dion leaves if the Raiders have a top 5 pick
And he can draft his son.
and he can draft his son.
That's what I'm saying. That would be cool.
And then he's like, no worries about see you, Colorado, from one bad offensive line to another.
Draft his other son. I mean, he doesn't really want to, but he will.
Oh, snap.
I guess
He'll be like, "Oh,
your
didn't
mom's
fall to me."
your mom's making me draft you, son.
We'll take Shiloh.
And then it's like the Patriots. I mean, Mac Jones benched in the 2-minute situation. Zappy throws a fake spike interception. Now is that on Belichick
Dude, that
or
was-
who's their offensive
Dude,
coordinator?
that was crazy.
Is it Bill O'Brien?
I can't
How
believe
do
I
you
woke up for
pull
that
your
game.
starting quarterback in the last drive?
I can't believe I woke up for that game.
Yeah,
for a
Mac
cold
Jones
quarterback.
sucks.
Who called
but
a fake spike?
Dude, yeah, he's not good, but like
They did.
to pull him to put in Zappy so he can.
like you've been
Fake
saying, a cold
spike.
quarterback.
A cold
like,
quarterback for your
gosh.
last game-winning drive. You're like, you need a game-winning drive instead of just rolling with it. Even like we talked. I think
You
I
should
put
have
this
made
in
the
chat.
change earlier.
You just
Yeah,
either
not the
make the
last
change
drive.
earlier or like you just like, all right, Mac, if
You know what
you're
that
either gonna
does
win
for-
this game or
You're
your
done.
job's on the line.
But
Yeah.
then-
with you doing that, I think you have to sit Mac Jones.
but
as
now
your-
you have to.
He's demoted to third string right now.
Yeah. Will Greer is going to be the starter after this bye week.
But,
They're
like,
on a bye right now.
with you doing that, for one, it shows the team that you don't have any confidence in Mac Jones. So why should they have confidence in Mac Jones?
I don't think they ever had confidence in
I don't
Mac
think they
Jones.
did.
He was what, 10th pick
15
or 15? I know it was like 10 or
He's
15.
the top 15 pick. I think it was 15th.
Yeah, I think he was 15th.
Yeah, I knew it was 10, like between
That's
10
a
and
reach.
15.
He was a reach.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
it
Like,
was.
But he's a reach
he gonna get
because
another
of what
chance
they're
somewhere?
dealt.
Gary was telling me and him were talking earlier. He thinks he's going to get another chance somewhere.
Maybe not as a starter, but he'll get picked up
You go
somewhere.
to Cincy, be a backup.
yeah,
I don't want him.
I wouldn't mind him as
He'd be a
backup.
good. He'd be a good
I don't
backup.
want him. Go Will Greer next year.
Well, he might be a starter.
Yeah, he can start for the
Patriots
Pats.
starter. He's taking him to the playoffs.
The playoffs, they're like 2-8.
That's
They went out and they make it at 9-8.
That's
That'd be
another.
something.
That's
That would be
just
wild.
just quickly. That's another move that the Bengals should have made. Was another backup quarterback, but
Another day.
another day.
I mean, I don't want to have a good backup quarterback because if Burrow goes down, I think I'd rather
Just be sucky.
just suck the whole year, get a good draft pick. Hopefully, you can.
But then
It'll
it's
help
like
Burrow out.
keep you afloat.
Not with
though.
this team though. Like
wanna
when
keep you
have, like,
afloat.
some of these guys are like on their last year of the contract. You're like, oh,
Yeah, some of these
okay.
guys you can't let.
Like DJ, like if DJ doesn't come back, we thought like Vaughn. I thought Vaughn was gonna be back last year.
I
It's
thought we
like-
were bringing one of them back.
And it's just
Yeah,
like,
he was the 15th.
Yeah.
He was the 5th quarterback taken.
They definitely got
round.
That's
bring
why they
DJ
took him.
back, right?
Oh yeah.
If they don't bring DJ back, it's like, all right, well, we got no. It's like BJ Hill and
We would draft. We
Nobody.
would have to draft.
So we are almost 1 week later. Are we taking Josh Dobbs and Ryan Tannehill?
Colton, the spotlight is on you.
I apologize. I apologize, Dobbs. I know you heard me.
He is on
I
TikTok.
highly
No,
doubt.
Dobbs. I don't know. He's proven me wrong. I will say that.
You proved me wrong.
I just thought in the
Beginning of the year.
situation. I just thought in the situation that before they got Dobbs, that maybe Tannehill would have been better, but no.
I think from
Respect
your,
to Dobbs and
I think from your point of view, you were probably just thinking as a vet,
yeah,
like trying to just kind of make
you're
keep
gonna
you
get
afloat.
Jay Jetta. Like maybe the Titan situation is just like weird and like at this point like
There's nothing I love
Crappy.
more than watching quarterback tape and watching quarterbacks. And I could have told you right now, Ryan Tannehill is bottom tier. He's down there with Mac Jones.
oh okay. Speaking of Dobbs now though, the Browns muffed it then.
100%.
Now that Deshaun's out for the year, it's like now they're
100, yeah.
starting DTR.
Because
I don't understand why they're starting him either.
Vikings are going to make the playoffs.
Because
Yeah, they will.
You're throwing a rookie quarterback into the fire.
Yep. And he didn't look good in the one start he had against.
You are throwing him into a
Not what you want to see.
Who'd they play?
Yeah,
that
no,
game?
it's gonna be rough.
Now he's about to play.
It's gonna be rough.
because now there's you know how much pressure's on
TJ
him.
Watt's
Yeah,
out
because
there.
I mean you're still in it. I mean your team is
Yeah.
very much in it.
And if you had Dobbs, it's like
Then again, he could look at this opportunity like, oh,
I need to step up.
maybe he's looking at it like, oh, they have a lot of confidence in me to make a playoff push
I gotta look
for this
something
team.
up.
So maybe that adds a little oomph to him.
Yeah, no, I think
That could
you're
happen.
right. I think it hurts him not having Chubb. I
Yeah.
mean, Ford is not Chubb, obviously, and being a rookie quarterback coming in, you would really, really like to have Nick Chubb.
Yeah, and then another quarterback struggling is Trevor Lawrence struggling against good defenses.
I don't know if you want to say it, but you saw the thing. It's like he's one of those quarterbacks that you have to like watch play, not watch the
Watch
stats.
his tape instead of like looking at his stats.
I mean, it does seem like whenever they play a top caliber team, he does kind of turtle.
A little bit.
Really bad against the 49ers. I mean, that was horrible.
That was a horrible game. I mean, on both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
realistically,
yeah,
but
he had a bad pick, like a really bad pick.
it was like right to the defender.
I mean, it was just across the middle. Like it was just a bad pick, and he just didn't look good. Like he.
And again, Burrow made the same throw.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And Trevor, I mean, I do have confidence in Trevor Lawrence to pick it up. So I mean, he's another quarterback that I feel like that could just, have an off year.
I don't think stats don't always tell the whole story. Jags are still winning games.
Yeah.
So as long as they can keep winning, he's their guy. I mean, I think he's gonna be all right.
Any final comments on quarterbacks from this week?
Did we say Kyler's back?
Kyler is back.
Yeah,
I did
Kyler's
not
back, but he
expect
played
him
against
to look that good like in
Falcons.
his first game back. And he looked like his normal
He's
self.
fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
He's definitely running around like a storm. So
That's what I'm saying. He looked good.
he looked fast too.
I'm forgot how much I missed like watching Kyler just run
Yeah,
around,
because it looks
make
like he's
some
like
crazy throws.
because it looks
and
like a
stuff.
fourth grader doing it.
Yeah,
And it's
he
the
really
coolest
does.
thing ever.
And it's like, oh my god, the guy's so
I would
small
say,
could do.
And plus the new Call of Duty came out, so he's probably
He's, like, balling.
super psyched.
The-
I know some people are so done with that joke, but
My last quarterback I would bring up was just shout out Sam Howell, leading the league in passing yards.
like, dude, he's on. He's either very on or very off.
No, 100%. But I mean, he doesn't get talked about a lot, and shout out to him, leading the league in yards.
Yeah,
Neither does Washington.
True.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, they're what 4 and 5, 4 and 6.
4 and 5.
So I mean, that's rough, but
Dak attack, baby. Dak attack.
All the Dak hate should move over to Josh Allen.
Yeah,
real
Dak-
quick.
Dak has looked
Dak is
good.
looking
man.
good.
I typed that up on here because after watching that Monday night game with Josh Allen, I'm like, okay, he's not going to receive any hate as much as Dak
Dak
would if
does,
Dak had
yeah.
this performance.
Dude, if Dak threw one pick.
Now, look, I'm not a Dak Prescott fan at all. I
yeah.
still think Dak Prescott's a mediocre quarterback in my opinion. But
He
he
gets
shouldn't
way-
deserve the hate that he is getting.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was about to say it's so much fun to hate on Dak Prescott. It's so fun.
I think it's
Well,
just 'cause
it's
he's a
honestly,
Cowboy.
it's fun.
It's the
I was gonna
Cowboys,
bring
yes.
that up. It's fun to hate on any Cowboys
if
quarterback.
he played anywhere else, he would honestly probably get praised.
It's kind of like Lamar for me. I would root for Lamar outside of the Ravens.
Agreed.
Oh,
Yeah, easily.
But-
Dude, at Louisville.
With the Ravens,
Yeah, Louisville. I'm like,
I hate him.
heck yeah, look at him.
All right,
good.
Heisman, good job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you're
Picked by the
Raven.
Ravens.
Raven,
Boo.
worst Heisman season ever. Doesn't deserve it.
Mickey Mouse high.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's just,
Yeah. They put here. So Allen does have 19 touchdowns and 11 picks.
yes.
I think I told you. He's averaging 15 and a half turnovers a year since 2018. So
That's a lot.
he's close to being on pace. He's just 4 away.
All right. And then right before we get into our games of the week for Week 11, we already talked about head coaching for the future of the NFL, kind of moving to the offensive side of the ball. And Colton mentioned Jim Harbaugh coming to the NFL. I don't think that's happening, but
I mean,
I don't know. I think
I
it's
don't
I think
see
it's
it.
this year or next.
right now I don't, but I wouldn't count it out.
It's this year or next.
I think he loves
'Cause if-
Michigan too
well,
much.
I think
I think he loves college ball way
think
too
It's
much.
all just
Way
depending
more
on
fun.
who, like what comes open. And
or
like, what he can get
how
into.
this whole Michigan thing resolves.
Yeah,
like
that's
if he's
that's
suspended
been a big
for
part
a
of
big
it too.
thing,
But
or,
they went through his computer and everything. They found nothing but clean slates.
I agree, but you never know.
And
dude.
I don't think Harbaugh's a guy like that.
I
You know
don't
what
either,
mean?
but you know how it is.
Yeah.
The media portrays it something, and
But I mean, future of the NFL. I'm going to talk about officiating. I think it's probably the worst it's been since replacement refs.
how,
this year.
Oh my
how
God,
are they
replacement refs, what an
reviewing
era.
penalties?
Yeah, it's really it's not even like just Bengals games
On
at this
non-scoring
point.
plays.
It's every game.
Like
A fan base is complaining about refs. That should not happen.
well, they throw
You
a
are
flag
in the NFL.
and they want to review it. It's like if it's not a scoring play and you throw a flag, honor that call.
Yeah.
I know we talked about this earlier in earlier episodes. Yeah, it's still an issue. Like that Josh Allen play where he got, for that taunting call.
Yeah.
In the rule book, it says if you taunt before a touchdown scored,
It's supposed to be like back
Yeah, you
from where
yeah,
he taunted
from the
it.
spot.
Yeah,
so you could go
So
50
he
yards
they weren't
back
supposed to get
and no
touchdown.
touchdown. No,
That
they
one
let
I
him get a
don't
touchdown.
I don't care about
because we won that game. And
because
Well,
we did
just-
win that game.
and
But
we still won, but
I
still,
would have
like,
cared a lot
that's-
more if we lost.
But that's
but
in the rule book, is that
it
it
is in the
doesn't
rule.
count.
what really
who
gets
was
me
that pointed out on Twitter? 'Cause I've
is
never
the
seen
underthrown balls being
Maybe we looked
rewarded.
it up.
That one, I know I love seeing the Bills lose, but seeing how they lost really pissed me off.
No, if the ball is not catchable,
Russell Wilson just heaved up a prayer. It was underthrown.
Yeah,
defender-
Judy's the one that like jumped on his.
There's
back.
nothing the defender can realistically do.
But he didn't look back in that his defense. Like you're supposed to like look for the ball.
But
if the ball is not
if
catchable,
he's constantly looking
Yeah.
for the ball, then how is he supposed to guard the receiver?
yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
The ball has to be catchable for it to be a PI.
Yeah,
And that ball wasn't. I mean, it just
and that's
if the receiver has to stop mid route and hit the defender first, I mean,
it's a bang bang. Like it's incidental contact.
it should be incidental contact. It shouldn't be pass interference, 15 yards, new set of downs, game over. It shouldn't be like that. No. And like the holding calls, like we've back-to-back weeks, we've had linemen own, like we have offensive linemen own a defensive lineman at the line, and it's been called for holding. It's all because the defender threw up his arms, and that's bad officiating. That is horrible officiating.
Like the flopping's starting to come into the NFL.
I'm gonna be honest too. Like Burrow had a ball that should have been called intentional grounding.
Yep.
If we're just gonna go off of
It was
consistency,
Just like Josh Allen.
it was just like Josh Allen's that he threw against the Bengals. I said it to Eric in the moment. I'm like looking for a flag. I was like, he threw that ball to nobody. No one was even near it.
Was it the one where they said Mixon was in their area? I think they pointed to
No,
Mixon.
this ball
He
was
probably threw it to the wrong route.
He was thrown to an outside receiver. I think it was Chase on an option route. Threw it way out of bounds. But
Oh.
Jamar
yeah,
Chase
I
was like
remember that,
at the 5 yards
Yeah.
from the line of scrimmage. The ball was probably 30 yards
Yeah.
over the line of scrimmage. And again, it's just like Josh Allen's that got called. Now, neither one of those are intentional grounding. But it's just when's consistency going to come into play?
You got to unionize.
It's that
They got to.
it
They
comes back.
got to.
I'm so
This
tired
has
of
to be their
saying it.
full-time job.
100%.
They have to go to take classes weekly.
Look at, I
And they
mean,
should
the
be rated.
MLB is a
They should be rated.
And graded and ranked, and then only the best should be able to ref. If you have such a low grade, you should not be.
nothing
reffing NFL
pisses
games.
me off more than the NFL officiating Twitter account coming up with like, oh, well, this call actually was like
Yeah,
this.
or we missed this. It's like,
dude,
thanks.
like that's not gonna get me the win back. That's not gonna get me my money back from my bets. That's
It's
not
just
gonna.
like it's like the 2015 playoff game where they came out and said, "Oh, that wasn't a touchdown."
The Martavis Bryant one.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
don't even say it. Like at
yeah,
that
like,
point,
at that
own your-
point, don't
own your
tell me
call.
it wasn't." 'cause
And
the
yeah,
Bengals would've
Gary
won
brought
that.
up. Now they're reviewing non-scoring penalties.
Like when has that ever been a thing?
Never. And then you have the refs at the Bengals and Texans games. I don't know how it was across the league, but after every penalty, they congregated for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
After a simple holding or a simple pass interference, they congregated for minutes. And we're sitting there like, what are they going to pick it up or what are they doing?
Yeah.
You are an NFL official. You should have that rule book memorized. It is quite literally your job. Granted, it is your part-time job, so I can understand, like, hey, I don't really care all that much. But I'm just here to get paid. And that's another problem is that these refs are just like, oh, I'm just here to get paid.
Yeah.
And I highly doubt the NFL is doing deep dives on their family members with sports books.
You're not wrong, man. That's,
And someone brought up a good point. NFL officiating has been bad since sports gambling has started. And I'm not going to put that all on it, but, I mean, it is just
something you gotta think about.
coincidence.
Yeah.
I just think if they're gonna call it, just stick with the call.
Yeah,
I
stick with the call.
hate the overturning penalties. Like I get it if it's blatantly if
Well,
it's blatant, it's blatant.
One thing I loved, it was a couple weeks ago, was the Packers and Raiders game. On the field, they called illegal man downfield. New York called them and was like, hey, that's not illegal man downfield. And they took a penalty back. Now, granted, it was a primetime game, so it was watched by more NFL officials upstairs and up in New York. But that should be every game.
Yeah, if you're
So
gonna do
every
it like
game.
that, do it every game.
I just looked up how much NFL refs are paid because I wanted to see. Like, I didn't know if the pay was an issue.
I mean, I imagine they get paid pretty well.
So according to Sporting News, NFL referees make an average of $205,000 per year.
That's chump change compared to the athletes.
However, the
officiating.
exact salary
do it
is
for
not disclosed by the NFL. Referees are paid a flat rate each season, and they do not receive payments on a per-game basis. If chosen to work the playoff games...
But see, that's another problem, though. They're not getting paid based off performance.
There should be.
That's another problem.
I mean, was Angel Hernandez...
Why would they care to fix themselves or get better at officiating?
I mean, was Angel Hernandez paid the same as every other ref? Well, ump?
Yeah.
I
I'm pretty sure he was because they're unionized.
No,
I know he gets the same benefits as every other ump.
I mean, when you do that, you're going to be paid the same. But they're saying in the playoffs, you can have between $1,500 to $5,000 a game, and in the Super Bowl can range from $40,000 to $50,000.
Dang.
So I mean, they're getting paid
It's a
pretty
lot of
nice
money,
to
man.
ref these games.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
They get paid really good to screw people over.
I mean, I get it. It's like it's a subsection of the game, but it's a huge part of it. I mean, if you're dictating,
They dictate the game.
You shouldn't control the game.
It should never come down to
But it seems like week in and week out, there's at least half of these games are coming down to the referees having a bad
it should
call.
never come down to one call.
I'm going to be
just
honest.
come
There
down to
was
the refs.
they called roughing the passer against the Texans on Burrow. It didn't look like roughing the passer to me. It didn't. It looked like the defender hit his helmet, but his arm hit his shoulder pad.
Yeah,
and Burrow kind of took a dive into the. He didn't get hit hard.
I would say that, and then the PIs.
That's
are
another
definitely out of
rule
hand.
issue. Is like you can't touch the head.
But
Yeah,
he
that
didn't
was-
know.
that was-
He didn't know.
Yeah,
Well, that's probably what they thought. Though.
They thought, but
So,
even some where they're lightly tapped, like forgot who it was when the rule was like really being talked about. The guy jumped up and like
yeah, barely.
for sure it's Tom Brady.
he like smacked the top of his head, like just tapped it 15 yards, and it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
That's
That's
now if the guy would have put his shoulder into
Yeah, I
his
mean,
face mask, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, if you're actually doing it, like you can tell. You can tell if it's unnecessary or not.
yeah. Well, it all comes down to the ref and how they interpret the rules.
I was honestly really shocked Dax Hill didn't get called for unnecessary roughness or something like that on a hit he had on. I think it was Tank Dell.
Yeah, and he
Came across the middle. It was a perfect football hit, but usually those are
They're
called.
always throwing.
Yeah, normally those are the penalties.
Yeah, usually a perfect football hit these days are penalties.
I think it's the sound is really what. Like if they hear that pop, man, they.
And obviously, I do care about player safety and all that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're leading with your helmet, stop it.
And the problem is, it's like not the refs themselves, but the organization as a whole.
Well, and it's like I don't know if you guys watched the Pat McAfee show, but the fines, those are getting out of hand, man. Like
a lot of
It's
times.
every week the NFL is just scraping money.
Yep.
like on bang plays.
I
like,
am, dude. Josh Allen should have not been fined $10,000 for pointing at Nick Scott.
Deontay Foreman.
No, that was
Deontay Foreman got fined
that's stupid.
$21,000 for lowering his helmet on a hit. I watched the clip, and you have to watch it a bunch because you're like
Running backs always lower their helmet though.
and
Like, you know what I mean?
And you're like,
Like,
where's the clip that he did it? And it's like it's crazy, man. It's just
but like 10,000 for pointing,
Yep.
you are reaching.
No fun
Pat,
league, bro.
Pat's like start boycotting the fines. What are they gonna
I
do?
know it was
What,
against
they
the
gonna stop
Bengals,
Josh
but-
Allen from playing?
So it really wasn't fun to watch. He's
They're gonna not let Josh Allen play football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
But it's no fun league. It's like you still want to like that's a little just
yeah,
over
you're,
it,
you're
And-
taking
and
the
it's-
fandom out of
yeah.
it. Like
And I'm not going to put like it all on Goodell because I think Goodell is probably the best commissioner the NFL's had in like in probably 50, 60 years.
yeah, I mean, he's also benefited from like the social media aspect and everything.
He
too, so.
has, and he embraces. I think he truly loves the game of football, and I think he does with what he can with the power he has. But he does have the God rule that's in the NFL rule book that he can't dictate anything he wants. Like if the Bengals lose 50-0, he could just be like, yeah, well the Bengals won that game, so That is a real thing in the NFL rulebook, which is kind of scary. Which he will never implement it like use it, but it's there.
It's gonna be a very special occasion.
It would have to be. I don't even know what would happen.
I don't think there's any reason to use it.
I think there have to be such a huge blown call in some game where
they had the opportunity 6 years ago with the Saints and was it 6 years ago? A couple years ago.
Saints Rams
game to make the God rule happen.
I think he didn't because the Saints got the ball back.
That's a good point. I do say that too. Saints, they get the ball back.
Now who knows what would have happened?
But again, it's one of those where they shouldn't have been in this situation in the first place.
100%.
Anyways, Week 11 games of the week. I'm going with the Bengals and Ravens just because I cannot think of another game with higher stakes than this one. The Bengals season is quite literally on the line on Week 11.
Yep.
Tier.
Need it.
Need it. The team knows we need it. The defense knows we need it. The coaches know we need it. Joe Burrow knows we need it. Miles Murphy knows we need it. I'm not sure Nick Scott knows we need it.
And that's why I think we win this one. We knew we needed the game. What was it, San Fran game coming out of the bye?
I think someone on the Pat McAfee show it might have been them. Someone said if you were going to drop a game, it had to be the Texans game.
You think so?
Had to be, because here on out,
because you can't. I mean,
you
can't
play
lose to
nothing but dogs.
You can't lose to the. You can't lose to the Chiefs. Can't lose the Browns. I mean, we got some games you can't lose. So I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I would prefer the drop the game against the Vikings if we had to drop a game, just because in the NFC.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the big thing, is just because they're in the NFC. But that's my game of the week. I don't know what your guys are. So.
My game of the week, two powerhouses, Eagles at Chiefs.
That's gonna be a good.
This should be a good
Super Bowl
one.
Rematch.
It should be a great one. See, I don't think the Eagles' defense is as crazy as it was last year. Chiefs' defense is playing above and beyond.
But you're trusting those Chiefs receivers. You trusting?
Yeah, about that. Like Eagles, I was talking to a coworker about this yesterday. The Eagles seem like they're not pulling away in games the way they were in previous years. It seems like they're kind of playing to the other team and then just winning. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like last year, it seemed like they were just dominating. This year, just
I think
seems like
Washington's a good example of that. They won, but
that's the division opponent, so it's a little different. But Washington plays them very well.
Very well, yeah.
And it's like kind of like surprising in a sense of like, wow.
I think maybe it's a little bit of like last year was like the first year kind of Hurts got like the full reins. They had A.J. Brown, like a lot of like new faces, a lot of like you couldn't really scheme against them yet.
Dude, A.J. Brown's a dog.
And I think this year it's more of like, okay, we've seen them from last year. They didn't really bring anybody else big in. Mm-hmm. Teams are kind of like able to game plan them, but they're still beating teams. It's just not as easy. I think teams are obviously circling that game too.
Super Bowl rematch.
Like
Eric put on here, game of two powerhouses.
Are we doing picks?
It should be a good one. I don't want to do picks now because it might screw me over. I want to.
I've gotten cheesed in a lot of picks.
Yeah, there's been a couple where we all took the Dolphins, which. I really thought the Dolphins
all
might have won.
All of us thought we took the Chiefs.
We all took the Chiefs. Yeah, I remember Gary saying, I'm pretty sure I took the Chiefs. And I'm like, I'm still in bed. Like, I'm not even watching the game. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this dude said the Dolphins on the podcast.
Man clipped me. He got me. I should have wore the clown nose in here. But it's all good.
It happens.
My game of the week is the Bears at the Lions. I think Fields is supposed to be back. It's a division matchup. I think Fields, after watching Badgett do what he did, like obviously he wasn't like special, but he like kept the Bears in games that they probably would have maybe got blown out. Not saying what Jeff Justin played, but like the way they were playing before Badgett became quarterback. Now the defense is looking better since Montez has been on the team and got his extension. I don't know. I think this could be a game where I think the Lions still win, but I think they could.
I'll pick this one live. I'll take the Lions.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions.
I mustn't take the Lions.
But I just saying, I like the Fields return.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, plus there's a lot of like even packed games this week. There's not.
Who do Lions just play? Who Lions play?
Chargers.
Breaking news: Joe Burrow had a wrist brace on his right hand getting off the plane in Baltimore.
Awesome.
The team deleted the post in Instagram video.
They were like, hey, they don't know fucking Burrow's got it.
Yeah, bro. Fuck. My game of the week is Raiders at Dolphins. I think the Dolphins, they're a fun team to watch, but they can't win the big one. I'm not saying the Raiders are a big game, but coming 2 wins in a row, kind of hot. A team that you can't sleep on. I think that because they are playing with so much motivation and momentum that it's like one of those that they can definitely come into your house and beat you.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins right now are, they see that the Bills are kind of falling apart, looking in the rearview mirror. That division's theirs for the taking. Like, it's theirs to lose. So I think they got to come out and win. I'm probably going to go with the Dolphins, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
I think I'm going to take the Dolphins too. I think it could be closer, but I also think it could be like what I was saying earlier, where Dolphins use this as like a track meet, and this is where Pierce gets smacked in the face, and people are like, interim head coach against Mike McDaniel coach team.
I'm not making a live pick.
You might take the Raiders or something?
I'm thinking about it.
Maybe.
All right.
I don't know.
I got a lot of ground to make up and pick them. So.
I think that game will be good. I'm pretty
sure we all had down. I think this is the first week.
I went 7.
None of us went
8.
double digits in wins.
I
think it's the first week.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it's the first week none of us hit double digits.
It was a very close.
Monday night, right,
I think me and you went 8-9. I think me and you went 8-9. I think you had the worst record.
7-9. Yeah, I think I went 7-10 or. Something.
Yeah, because the Bills.
Week.
We all picked the Bills.
Yeah.
So that I think
I don't blame us.
I might have had 8. I don't. Either way, it was bad.
Ooh, the Celtics won.
All
hey, yeah, I made some money on ESPN Bet tonight.
Yeah, I was about to say Celtics won. All the teams we needed won. So.
Yeah, look, listen, man.
But we're not an NBA podcast, so.
They changed a lot.
All right, guys, that was a fun one. We'll be back next week for sure after this Thursday night win.
Couple more weeks till we in the new place.
I'm going to take that back. I'm not going to say Thursday night win. I'm not going to sit there and call my shot. But we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
See ya.